Hey, it's Robert from JuicedLink, and check out all this equipment that we're going to evaluate today. We're going to compare the signal-to-noise performance of all these different recorders. Let's listen to a clip comparing the Zoom H4n to the JuicedLink low-noise preamplifier going directly into a camera so we can see how important selecting the right equipment can be. So let's roll that audio clip. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. That was a really significant difference, wasn't it? You could really hear how much lower the noise was using the JuicedLink low noise preamplifier into the camera versus using the H4n. Now let's get to the rest of the tests, but before we do, let's cover some basics on signal to noise, and then we'll talk about what our test methodology was for comparing all of the different recorders and low noise preamplifiers. Let's roll the slideshow. So let's listen to a bunch of different clips. So there's going to be one set of clips where we're going to be recording directly to the camera and using different pieces of equipment to interface. We're going to use a HOSA MIT-156, which is basically a transformer adapter to go from balanced XLR to the mini jack input of the camera. And the performance of this is going to be similar to other passive types of XLR adapters like the Beachtek DXA-2T or the Beachtek DXA-5DA. We're going to use a JuicedLink low noise preamplifier. We're going to use a Beachtek DXA-SLR PRO. Then we're going to have another set of clips where we're just going to be recording directly to digital audio recorders, not using a camera at all. So we're going to use the Zoom H4n, the Tascam DR-100 MKII, the Tascam DR-680, the Edirol R44, and the Sound Devices 702. Let's talk a little bit about the test methodology so we understand the tests better. And this came from a blog post from Alan Tepper of the Pro Video Coalition, and he challenged us to use our JuicedLink low noise preamplifiers and compare them to other types of external recorders using a dynamic microphone. And we use the Sennheiser E835, which has 2.7 millivolts per Pascal sensitivity. And the reason they wanted to challenge us using that is that the output voltage from a low sensitivity mic like that will be very low, so it's really going to stress the preamplifiers and push them to their limits to really, be able to compare which one is going to outperform the other. So we spoke into the microphone at a distance of 6 inches. Now you might say, well, I don't have a handheld microphone. I'm still using a shotgun microphone. So how is this relevant to me? Well, the Rode NTG2 is one of the most popular shotgun microphones. It has about 15 millivolts per Pascal sensitivity. And, even though you would be using it a little bit further away, like 1.5 feet away as opposed to 6 inches, since it's more sensitive, the output voltage that you would get from it would still be larger than the output voltage from the handheld mic. But it's equivalent as if you were using the Rode NTG2 at 4.5 feet away. So at 4.5 feet, the output voltage is going to be roughly equivalent to the output voltage of the handheld microphone at 6 inches away. So that's why this is an excellent test, because there's going to be instances, even if you're using a more sensitive microphone, that you may not be able to get the microphone as close as you'd really like to. So this is a great test to really stress the preamplifiers. So these tests are going to be equivalent. Using the handheld dynamic microphone at 6 inches, using the Rode NTG2 at 4.5 feet away, for instance, like where you're running and gunning and you've got the microphone mounted to the camera, or if you're shooting a wide shot where you've got the NTG boomed, but because it's a wide shot, not a tight shot, you can't get that microphone in there as close, and it's about 4.5 feet away. Now, on the recorder, this is how we have things set up. So we mentioned before we want to have the peaks come in at -12 dB. So on the recorder, we'll adjust the gain and the volume control so we get the meters to register there. But as we mentioned before, sometimes you might be gain limited in your system. So if we can't get the peaks to get all the way up to -12 dB, we'll adjust the recorder so we can get the peaks to go as high as possible. Now, when we were recording to the camera, we used the Canon 60D, we set it to manual, and we set it to the lowest noise position. So we throttled back the noisy amplifier in the camera as far as we could, so that was just one little click above off for the lowest noise position. Now, when we did the tests with the Beachtek DXA-SLR PRO, it was gain limited. So we also helped it out a little bit by repeating the tests, by increasing the gain level to 25% and to 50%, but it didn't really make a big difference in the signal to noise performance. So again, we're going to adjust the preamplifier to get the peaks to come in at -12 dB, but if it's a gain limited system, we'll adjust the preamplifier so we can get the peaks to come in as high as possible. Now we're going to get a bunch of different clips, and how do we compare them? We'll have some clips where we'll have a nice juicy signal and a nice low noise floor. We'll have other clips where we'll have another nice juicy signal with the peaks coming in at -12 dB, but the noise is not going to be quite as good. We'll have some recordings where it's going to be gain limited. The signal is not going to be as high as we want it, but it still might have a good noise floor. Or another gain limited system where the signal is not so high but the noise floor is not so good. So how do we compare these? So what we do is in post, we normalize the peaks of my speaking voice to -3 dB. And when we're playing back the clips of the recording, we're not really listening to how my voice sounds or the echo in the room or anything like that. The voice is really just there to set the peak of the recording level. What we're doing when we're evaluating the clips, we're listening to and comparing the noise levels of the various pieces of equipment. Okay, let's listen to the noise clips now. And again, we're comparing the noise floor between the various clips. Let's roll them. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. 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 Check 1, 2. So let's summarize the results of the tests. So these pieces of equipment resulted in excellent signal-to-noise performance. We had two external recorders. One was the Sound Devices 702 and the other was the Tascam DR-680. And the other approach we had was recording directly to the camera through the JuicedLink low-noise preamplifier. And all these did not end up with nearly as good signal-to-noise performance in these tests. So, wasn't that just a great test? You know, I learned a lot from it also. But, you know, when you hear people tell you that, you know, you have to use an external recorder, you can't get good signal-to-noise performance recording directly to the camera, they're absolutely wrong. If you've got a JuicedLink low-noise preamplifier, you can record directly to the camera with excellent signal-to-noise performance. Now, I'm not suggesting that you would record to the camera something like a symphony. You know, if you're recording a symphony, of course, you'd want to take advantage of the high bit rate that you can use from an external recorder. But the bit rate that's offered on, you know, cameras like DSLR cameras in conjunction with the JuicedLink low-noise preamplifier is more than sufficient for recording high-quality, excellent signal-to-noise performance dialogue. And recording directly to the camera has a lot of benefits for you in terms of your production flow, especially if you're a small crew, a one-man band doing run and gun work. When you record directly to the camera, you're not going to have to sync in post. It's much easier to find a spot on your camera or your rig to mount a JuicedLink low-noise preamplifier than it is to try and mount a recorder somewhere. There's only going to be one place that you need to remember to hit record, and that's in the camera itself. You don't have to hit record on the camera and also on the external recorder, so you'll never forget to record your audio again. And if you're doing run and gun work, the JuicedLink low-noise preamplifier boots instantaneously, so you'll never miss something spontaneous when you're eventing. In terms of signal-to-noise performance, I'm very proud that my little JuicedLink low-noise preamplifiers can even be mentioned in the same sentence as something like a Sound Device's 702 recorder. But you know what? They also share something else in common. They're both made in America. Weren't these tests really interesting? I really learned a lot from them. If you found them valuable also, make sure that you tweet them to your friends because they'll thank you for it.
Low noise preamps for your